Enjoy the film.
You want butter on your popcorn?
The theater will be ready in a second.
Hey.
Hey.
How we on?
Usually we talk about theater drama at this part of the episode, but
There is relatively none.
it is smooth sailing.
Smooth sailing. Mm-hmm.
Lacey has whipped this place into shape
Yeah.
real quick.
Real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Clearly, that just makes for an exciting podcast.
Yeah.
You know,
When there's no drama
there's no
whatsoever.
drama.
Isn't that kind of sad?
Even Mark has shaped up.
he really has. Did you see he got a haircut?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see his eyes now.
There's nothing behind those eyes. It's
Dead eyes.
just
Lacey
soulless.
took it out of him.
Oh boy. Well, I'm wondering if he had anything in there before.
Oh,
That's
yeah. No,
true.
Mark's a cool guy.
Mark's a cool guy. He's a cool guy.
Is your alleged club that's not real still functioning?
Well,
I know
we
Steve
have-
was a big part of that.
Well, I mean, he was a major contributor.
Yeah, I mean, I knew he didn't run it, I assume, but he
No, he
If
didn't.
you can't do the time, don't do the crime.
Exactement.
Yeah, and he certainly
and
did the crime.
definitely did it.
for
He
sure.
absolutely
down
did
for
it.
it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're still meeting every so often. I mean, we're just hanging out, just buddies who punch each other.
Oh,
sometimes.
yeah.
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 Gotcha, but it's less formal now.
Yeah. Now it's more.
Well, Steve
Camaraderie
was the only
based.
one who put money on the fights. So
Yeah.
Oh, so he's sort of what made it.
Yeah, we're kind of just doing it for the hell
Yeah,
of it now.
we're just hanging out to hang out.
Okay, so you just meet up and punch each other, and it's not a designated.
Well, I mean, we can't talk about it, but
Oh, you
I
still
mean-
can't talk about it, even though it's not a club anymore.
we still have rules.
I mean, yeah, there are still
I mean,
rules.
no, we don't.
Why do I bother?
I don't know. I don't know why you bother us all the time.
Why do you keep bothering us?
I'm sorry.
It's all right. We forgive you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, if there's nothing going on in the theater, I guess we can jump right into the movie. This is weird.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Henry Harrison.
I'm Greg Basil.
And I'm Kyle McKlinsky.
Shrimp McKlinsky.
Got him.
This week we watched a heist film.
We did watch a heist film.
Would you like to introduce the?
Yeah, of course. This movie was called 5 Minutes to Freedom. 5 Minutes to Freedom. About a group of bank robbers. The main character is kind of the driver of the car.
Yeah, she comes in. She joins this already established crew. That's been basically they've been robbing places all over the place, and
Yes.
they've been getting away with it. Except most recently, they lost their driver. Their driver was caught. So they're in the market for a newbie, and so we start the film with their new driver, Sharon, joining them on a very small job, kind of like
Yeah.
her test run
Right.
as their new driver.
And we very, very quickly get that she is a very experienced driver.
Yeah, she gets it.
Gets it. They get in the car and they're just out of there so quick. And
She's driving around. She's bobbing and weaving through traffic.
right. And
Bit unnecessarily so. I mean,
Yeah.
There wasn't that many cars on the road, and
She
she
seemed to be going
they
out of her
weren't
way.
really
to-
being chased.
Yeah,
Yeah.
She was pulling tricks though, like going around, drifting around corners.
Well, I
and
think
everything.
she was showing her skills. I think she probably was hoping that there'd be more opportunity to show off her skills.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if she's just driving them away and no one's chasing them, she could drive at 30,
Yeah.
you know, and stop at stop signs. But instead, she wants to go 60 and blow right through them.
60 and do her thing. Yeah. And they're like, sweet, thank you very much, Sharon. That was a very good test drive.
Yeah, they're incredibly polite.
Yeah, we'll call you in the morning with our decision.
They're very professional.
As if
Here's our card
here's a card.
in case you need to get a hold of us, but we will
Yeah,
reach out.
we will let you know.
Don't call us, we'll call you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so then she goes home.
To her mom who has arthritis. And and she's basically taking care of her mom
Yeah.
because she's unable to, move herself off the couch or, get to.
It's extreme arthritis.
It's in her hips, and it's in her knees, it's in her elbows.
It's all over the place.
She's got bad tennis elbow and tennis knee, and bed sores.
Oh boy.
And
this is all very apparent when she walks into the door. When Sharon walks in the door, it's immediately apparent that she has all of this, that she's riddled with arthritis and bed sores.
Yeah, Sharon's bringing her prescriptions. So as she takes out the bag, she's like, here are all your usual prescriptions. This one's for this. This one's for this.
Lays it out.
It's pretty clear. Because she has dementia, and she doesn't know what each pills are for.
Yeah, exactly. Right. She's like, there's the blue one. This one's for this, and there's the yellow one.
Don't take more than one at a time.
Yeah, this one's for your gout.
This one's for your child diabetes.
Her mother is ill.
Yeah, very ill.
Very ill mother. And you can get right away that Sharon is kind of her caretaker. She's the one who's taken up the mantle as far as
bringing home the bucks and everything.
Yeah, she needs to pay for her immense medical bills.
Yeah. And so she walks in and he's like, here's every single medication possible, Mom. and Mom says, that's really great. Hey, how are you doing? Good to see you.
Also, who are you?
And what was your name again? It's Sharon, Ma. I have I got that. I think I got that job that I was looking for. Oh, that's fantastic. What do you do?
I'm a driver for bank robbers.
Oh, that
she doesn't
sounds
fear,
nice.
Who
are you again?
She doesn't fear her mother knowing what she actually does because she's not going to.
She will not hold on to the information whatsoever.
Mother can't. Yeah.
And neither can you, apparently.
And so she goes to sleep, and she's very hopeful for the morning. Mm-hmm. She's like, I've pretty much nailed this gig.
Yeah.
I'm very overqualified. Because on her walls, you can see that she's got, these trophies and like these plaques.
Yeah, go-kart races and soapbox cars.
And there's a picture of her with a NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
And, it's a famous one. I don't know any of the famous ones, but
I don't know.
He's got a number on his jacket, and
he's clearly sponsored by it. So he's
by some sort of
and
drink.
Kind of through this like showing of her room, you kind of get the idea that she's worked on like pit crews. She's been on go-kart teams.
Yeah, this is her passion. This is her passion. This
anything with wheels.
Anything with wheels, she is into it.
The morning comes, the sun shines on her face, and she wakes up, and her phone rings.
Right, she's super excited because she's like, "This is it. This is the call. I'm about to do this job that's going to make me a bunch of money." She answers, and they're like, "Hey, listen, Sharon, you were great yesterday. Thanks again, but we've decided to go with someone else."
Oh,
she's like, "Who did you decide to go with?" And they're like, "Oh, it's driver. You might know her. She's in the bank robbing circuit. Her name is Lindsay." And Sharon's like, "Lindsay." And we get this feeling that Lindsay is Sharon's rival.
Mm-hmm.
So what Sharon decides to do is to build her own crew that morning to try to hit this bank job before
the other one.
The other team can take it.
So she calls her friends. Mm-hmm. She's got like 3 of them.
She's got 3 friends.
She goes into her Rolodex and filed under safecracker. She pulls out a couple names. Filed under.
Muscle.
She's like, come to my house right now. Don't worry, my mom's not gonna, have any questions for you guys. If she does, she's not gonna remember what you guys said. So you go ahead, come on over, and the couple hours later, they're all gathered around her table, and she's like, this is a bank heist. We're here, and we're gonna get some money because I really need money for these prescriptions for my mom because she's real ill.
She's really ill.
Yeah, not to mention Lindsay is trying
to say no more.
Lindsay,
say no more.
We got your back, Sharon.
So she doesn't have a car at the moment. It's on bricks. And time is very tight right here.
Yeah.
Right. The title 5 Minutes to Freedom here is very accurate because they only have so much time to work with here to be able to rob this bank before the other bank heisters. So
there you go.
They decide they're going to do this one on foot. They're like, we don't have time to get a car.
Right.
So we're
because they all bust over there. They all took the bus to get there.
Yeah.
So she's like, I've got a bike. I've got pegs on the front and back so I can take 2 people.
And the third one, I actually have like a red wagon. We could tie some rope behind.
Yeah, so if we tie that to the seat.
we could have somebody watch over the hall when we bike away from the scene. They can watch over, all the money that we've taken.
And they're all super on board with this plan.
Very, very good friends.
So they all put on their ski masks, which I think is premature, and they bike off towards the bank. So she's
very blatantly like
they're all
the middle of the day
in masks, carrying weapons
through the middle of town,
just through
on a bike, with a red wagon.
With Charlie, who I believe was their muscle, because he's a big guy. He's kind of hunkered back there in the wagon. And they pull up to the bank.
They pull up to the bank and they put the kickstand. They kick the kickstand.
They lock up the bike just to be safe. They don't want anyone stealing it.
And they march on into the bank and march straight up to the counter.
And the first thing that Sharon says is, "Quick question: have you been robbed yet today?"
No, no. Why do you ask that?
And she's like, "Oh, okay,
all right,
okay, good.
Well, this is a stick up," and they all kicked in like the doors, and they're like start harassing all the customers inside, kind of overturning stuff. She's like, "I need you to empty the register," but right at that moment, that's when
the other crew
shows up and they bust in the doors.
Tires squealing, coming around the corner.
They have the car, nice car.
Yeah, it's a bright pink Mustang. Which is very...
It's very...
It's flashy and it's conspicuous, so I don't know. But, I mean, Lindsay, that shows you how confident this Lindsay person is. That she's so confident she's a getaway driver. She drives a car that anyone would be able to identify at a later time.
At least a mile away.
Yeah, but she is confident.
And so they bust in and they're trying to rob not only the bank, but Sharon and her crew.
Exactly. They come in, "Hey, this is a robbery. What are you doing here? Give us the money."
And she's like, no way. I need this money. You give me your money. And they're just kind of at a standoff.
Yeah.
And that's when Sharon skitters around to the side.
That's how I describe it, yeah.
Right. She kind of like crab walks over a little bit. And she hides one of the bags of the cash to the side of the register. And then she lets the crew kind of do this. She's like, "All right, well, fine. We'll just let you do your thing, and
we'll stand back. We'll watch.
Right.
We'll watch. Let's see how good you are at this."
And they're very good.
Yes. They're very good.
They do this super quickly, super
efficiently.
And they roll with the punches because they had a whole plan. They had notes that they were going to hand to the tellers. But they're like, "All right, we need to skip step 1. We're going straight to step 4, which is unload the big bank vault into these bags." So
and they're all like, "Yes, gotcha. All right, sweet deal."
It is calculated. It is precise.
Even the bank teller was complimenting them. "This is very well done. You guys are doing a very good job."
I've been robbed before, just 10 minutes ago. It was not near this.
That one did not go as smoothly.
It was sloppy.
And so they get out, they hop in their pink Mustang and peel out of there real quick. I mean, it's less than 5 minutes, I would say.
Less than 5 minutes.
And
they are free.
And so we're left with Sharon and her crew. And they're like, we got to get out of here before the cops show up because we're going down for this if that's what's happening. So she grabs her little bag that she stuffed to the side of the register, and they get on their bike and they
wheel off.
And they're like, how much did we make? And how much did we make out with? And she's like, I don't know, like $500, something like that. And
something like that.
And it's like 125 per person ish. Yeah.
But we did get a lot of ink packs,
which honestly is probably worth more than money because damn if those are expensive.
Yeah, geez.
Yeah, Sharon gets home. She tucks her $125 away. A little disappointed that she didn't make more. She puts up the ink packs for sale on the internet, on the black market. She's like, "Anyone want any ink packs? You can buy them here." That's kind of her side hustle.
Yeah. She actually did get like $1,000 for that.
Yeah, she made more money selling the dye packs on. Yeah. And then that's when while she's on the computer doing that sale, that's when a little thing pops up at the corner, and she scrolls down and she sees that a local museum is going to be housing the world's largest mummy, and she gets the idea to steal that mummy.
I mean, if dye packs are being sold for $1,000 on the black market, think what a mummy.
Think what used toilet paper would sell for.
Mummies aren't actually wrapped in toilet paper.
But that's what her idea is. She's like, we can
She
steal
calls
this
up her
mummy.
friends and she's like, hey, here's the thing.
If we have tiny cardboard tubes, we could literally roll all of this and sell it on the black
It's
market.
ancient
for
toilet paper.
Big money.
Big
all right?
money.
Big
So,
mummy.
got him.
And part of the idea is that by taking the wrappings off the mummy and selling that as toilet paper, they can also sell the mummy's corpse elsewhere. They can sell the sarcophagus elsewhere. It's splitting it up, so
Exactly.
it's less likely the feds are going to catch on. Because if the feds are like, someone just sold the world's largest corpse on the black market, I wonder if that's the same mummy, But if it's split up, they might not make that
They
connection.
might not put the pieces
right.
together.
It's flawless logic, really.
Yeah.
So they're all on board. They are sold on this idea.
They go down to the hardware store. They get little cardboard tubes, and they start planning it out. They're like, okay, so it's going to be this weekend, and then there's a little montage of them getting ready, like mapping out the whole museum, and they've got little like Monopoly pieces, and they're moving them around. So it looks like we get the idea that they're really figuring this out.
Yeah.
So she gets with her crew, and they're this is a few days out from their planned day of heist. The mummy is in place. He's in the museum now. They're kind of scoping out the situation beforehand. She's outside the museum and kind of scoping things out. Like, okay, they got a couple armed guards on the outside. It looks like, like motion detector devices. It's actually pretty well secured in there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is the world's biggest mummy, so that's gonna be protected.
Yeah.
Even on a Tuesday when the museum is free.
Right. That's the only time they can afford to go to the museum is when it's free, because
She's
they don't
strapped for
made of
cash.
money.
they're not made of mummy.
We're gonna get this the whole episode, aren't we?
And so anyway, they start packing their bags, and they're like, well, why don't we actually get a car this time? Because the bike, I don't think, is going to work carrying this mummy. I don't think we can carry it in the wagon. We're gonna have to,
After all, it's the world's
largest mummy. And Sharon says, well, where are we supposed to get a car? The only reason I had one in the opening scene is because it was provided for me.
Right. It was a test car for the test heist.
Exactly.
Right.
That was Lindsay had to do a test on that car too, and apparently she did a better job.
It's one of those cars with the brake pedal on the passenger side as well, like a driver's
student
ed.
driver car. Yep. So that's their idea, is we're gonna steal that car. We're gonna steal a student driver car. So I'm gonna go pretend to get my license, and then I'm just gonna peel out of there, right? So they go, and she gets to the driving school,
Right.
And then the driving instructor gets in. And he's like, "Hello, I'm here to give you a little." And Sharon immediately just pushes him out the car and drives away. That was a success,
right? Heist success. They have a car now, and
very quick.
And so they get to the house, and they're packing their bags, throwing stuff in the trunk, and their little cardboard tubes into the back of the car. Things are feeling airtight.
Yeah.
They're feeling very confident about.
They're like
their ability
sweet.
to do this.
Everything's wonderful. The car's in working condition. We can't get the student driver sign off the top, but that's okay. We'll figure that out in a bit.
So they pile in the car. They're like, okay, well, it's go time. Like we got a little bit of time. Our window of opportunity is coming. We got free admission to the museum again today. So lucky us. We'll go down.
First Tuesday of the month,
right?
Ladies
So
and gentlemen.
they drive down.
Yeah, they get down there, and just before they get out, Sharon turns to everybody and is like, "Hey guys, I just wanted to say that you guys are like family to me. You guys are wonderful. Do a great job. You're like my family. So is my mother, but she also has."
And while she's saying
this,
a pink Mustang rolls up behind him.
Oh no!
And she's like, "Oh, okay, we're getting this
We gotta
done
go
yeah.
now." So
they jump out of the car, as does Lindsay's crew. They jump out of their car, and they're all running up the stairs to the museum.
So we see Lindsay's crew. They start by shooting the armed guards, and they die right away.
Yeah.
And Sharon's crew is like, "Holy shit! Like, whoa, that wasn't part of the plan." But we're just gonna roll with the punches here. We're just gonna try to do it faster than Lindsay's crew. That's the idea, because clearly they're pretty good at this. But I think we can get out with the mummy here. And then we can, make our money.
So the tech guy from each crew, they both go to the same alarm panel, and they're both trying to disarm it at the same time, kind
pushing
of pushing and shoving each other. But Sharon's guy does disarm it first. It doesn't really matter because now it's disarmed. It would have been fine either way. And then both the folks on the wires that drop down into the mummy room go down simultaneously and are sort of
kind of tangled up in each other.
Yeah, they're kind of bouncing off each other back and forth. But they're both approaching the mummy down below.
And they unfasten it from the top of the ceiling, so it starts to kind of teeter over.
Right, because it's upright. The sarcophagus.
So both of the muscle guys are down below to catch the mummy.
Right.
And then when it falls, you see Sharon's guy kind of ducks out of the way. Other dude gets crushed by the mummy.
Yeah, because they miscalculated how much this mummy weighs. I mean, to be clear,
this is the world's largest mummy.
You got to account for weight in that case.
Exactly.
That's something where it's like Sharon's crew did their homework just that much more than
just let the mummy hit the ground and then you can move it.
Absolutely.
But because Lindsay's guy was there to get smashed, doesn't take as much damage on the fall.
That's money in your pocket.
Money in your pocket
right there. So they start to kind of shuffle the mummy out little by little because it's a heavy mummy.
Right.
And they get to the door frame and they're trying to push it through the door frame and it's not fitting.
It's not.
Right. At this point, two of the crew members, the alarm guy and Sharon, have both put on the security guard uniforms because their intention was to just knock these guys unconscious, but now they're wearing these uniforms that are bloody with holes in them. So it's a little more conspicuous than they were hoping.
Yeah.
But they're telling people to move out of the way. They're like,
pardon.
We got to move the mummy for security reasons.
So they get it. They basically snap the arms off and are able to get it through the door frame.
Right. They pop it out of the sarcophagus.
Yeah, they pop it out of the sarcophagus because they figured it'd probably be easier to carry in pieces.
Right. Exactly. It'll be easier to sell that way too because if you sell the largest mummy arm and another largest mummy arm, no one will connect the dots.
They can't figure out that they belong to the same mummy.
So they strap
that technology doesn't exist.
It does not. Yeah.
They are strapping it to the top of their student driver car. They have the sarcophagus on the back and the mummy on top.
Right.
And they are using the bandage wraps to tie it to the car.
Yeah, they unwrap it enough to wrap it around the car.
They all pile in the car. They leave Lindsay's crew there. Lindsay's like in shock. She's just like, "Whoa, hey, like where you?" And then they just peel out. And
they peel out after slashing her tires.
And they leave her in her pink Mustang at the scene of the crime.
Right.
Yeah. And then we hear the sirens
rolling up.
So they speed off and they get back to Sharon's place. And
their mom's like, really "Where were you? Who are you? What are you doing in here?
Who am I? What is this?"
And so they're like, "It's okay, Mom." And she's like, "Who?" And then they go upstairs with the mummy. And she's like, "What's that?" And they're like, "Don't worry about it." And then they get upstairs and they're uncoiling the mummy.
Right.
And they realize it's a fake mummy. There's no dead body in there. It's just a mannequin. And they're like, "Okay."
The world's largest mannequin.
Largest mannequin.
Which is why it still weighed so much. But they realize they've been tricked.
I mean, we can still sell the toilet paper, but we're not going to make as much on the body.
It was a fake the entire time because the museum, the mother's watching the news and they overhear that a heist has just been pulled over on the museum. And the museum curator, he comes on and he's like, we had a feeling that this was going to happen, this being the world's largest mummy. So we put a fake in. Here's the real one. Show a picture of it.
And he's like, here's the photo of it. It's in the back room over here. Let me show you. He opens the door. It's gone. But through a window in the back, you can see a pink car
Mustang
with fresh tires because she thought ahead, peeling off with the sarcophagus on top.
And the museum curator, damn it.
So Sharon and her crew are just dumbfounded. They're like, "Okay, well, we'll sell the toilet paper first, and then we'll steal the real mummy from Lindsay's crew."
Right.
Yeah. Because they know that Lindsay's just going to take that to a warehouse and leave it there for a while.
Because that's what she does with all of her
everything.
That's Lindsay's style. She's not in it for the money. She's in it for the thrill.
Exactly.
And to just collect as much as she can in one location.
She's a collector. She's a collector, if nothing else, and a getaway driver. so they start putting together a heist plan.
Right. They do this, and then Sharon's like, all right, so we're going to pull this off tomorrow. You guys go home. And so then there's this kind of like this moment of calm in the midst of all this craziness going on. You know, Sharon spends dinner with her mother.
Sharon is giving her more medication for other things.
She's like trying to swallow, but it's painful for her to swallow. So
which is and she hands her another medication for her throat.
Here's a suppository for that.
There you go.
But Sharon ends up going back up to her room where she's surrounded by this, piles of wrapped toilet paper, a couple of limbs from the world's largest mannequin.
Mannequin head.
And she pulls out this album and she starts flipping through it. And we see in these photos, very similar to the ones that are on her wall of her, racing cars, NASCAR and all that. But all the ones on the wall, she's right near the edge of the frame in how they were sort of cropped. And we realize that she has a photo album with all these photos again, but the complete photo. And on the other side of her, next to her, and all those photos is Lindsay.
I
realized these are childhood friends.
Yeah.
She got 2 printings of each photo. Cut one printing so that only she appeared in them and hung those on the wall.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's a crazy thing to do.
It's a roundabout way for the film to make this point.
Yeah.
But
Sharon realizes that I don't want to, drag my crew into this. Mm-hmm. This is something I have to do alone.
This is personal.
Right.
So that night, she leaves. She goes out to the student driver car that's parked outside of her house. Mm-hmm. She gets in and
because all the guys they bust home.
Right. So she drives. She didn't want to give him a ride home and waste the gas for the heist tomorrow. So,
right.
She drives to the warehouse that she knows that the mummy's at. Mm-hmm. And she parks outside and she's kind of looking around, and then gets out of her car, realizes, okay, this is my moment. I just gotta get in, get out, and that'll be it. As soon as she gets inside of the warehouse, Lindsay's waiting for her.
The lights turn on and Lindsay's there. Yeah.
She's in a big swivel chair.
Yeah, she swivels around.
The world's largest swivel chair. Another prize that she's stolen.
That she's stolen.
And she just says, I thought I could find you here. She kind of stumbles over her words a little bit, but Sharon's still surprised. All right. And she's like, whoa, like, okay, this is about us. Okay.
Yeah.
Like, this is between you and me here. Why do you always have to steal the glory from me? Mm-hmm. And Lindsay's trying to explain. She's like, I always felt like you were the one trying to steal my glory. Like, I
was always trying to live up to you.
And they have this little moment.
She pulls out
the album,
a photo album.
But these photos show that they grew up together. They're evenly matched in most ways. They were both on the same pit crew. That's how Lindsay was able to change out her tires so quickly after they slashed them. Like all the same skills are there. And so they've just been trying to one up each other.
Yeah.
Each one always thinking that the other, was better, was the better of the two, and trying to live up to their expectations, which in turn just kept making them each better.
Sharon is like, why do we even need these other crews? Like, if me and you teamed up, we would be the biggest crew in the world. And she's like, well, yeah, I mean, I'm just here to pay for my mom's medications, but yeah, that sounds good too.
And Lindsay's like, really? I mean, I just had all this stuff here. I don't have any reason to keep this. Do you just want to sell all this? I'm a decent person.
Yeah.
So then a song kicks in, and we get a montage of them teaming up to sell all this stuff on the black market. They're pulling up in back alleyways and handing off goods.
Her mom's starting to look a lot better,
a lot healthier.
Her skin tone changes back to like what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, looking like human skin.
She looks about 40 years younger.
Oh boy,
absolutely. And Sharon's checking her bank account on her phone, and it's just climbing,
going up and up and up.
And then that's kind of just closes on them peeling away in that pink Mustang together.
Then it opens up again for like a mid-credit sequence. her crew. They're all together and they're waiting for a phone call.
They're riding the bus on the way to the heist.
In their ski masks.
In their ski masks and everything. And they're like, you think... Did Sharon say that she was going to meet us there?
They get to the warehouse. It's completely empty.
It's empty. And then the rest of the credits happen.
Yeah, it's a nice little comedic moment.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, there you go. 5 minutes to freedom.
5 minutes to freedom.
5 minutes to freedom.
It was good.
Yeah, it's a nice little heist film. I like heist films.
Yeah.
Heist films are fun.
Yeah, this one was a fun one.
Did
you guys have any favorite parts?
I like the part it was near the end after sort of they've reconciled, and it's during that montage where they they're working together and they're selling the stuff and everything. Part of that is them getting together and they have their photo albums and they're taking out, Sharon took the photos down off her wall where she had cropped out Lindsay. And Lindsay had her own photos where she had cropped out Sharon, and we realized, they had just cut these photos directly down the middle, and they're putting them back together.
Yeah,
and
it's very symbolic. It's nice.
It's very symbolic.
It's pretty straightforward.
It's a little on the nose, but I like what it represents. Which, I mean, this whole film is just sort of about like reconciliation and
sisterhood.
Sisterhood.
I think it's nice that we didn't have to have a big, exciting, thrilling action sequence.
Right.
They just agreed that
really cathartic experience.
Yeah. And isn't that the most thrilling action sequence of all?
Well,
no. I have to give this a 6 probably, because I wanted an action sequence at the end. It's kind of it's nice to have the little, all you need is friendship.
Yeah, they did wrap things up pretty neatly.
And it was very well done, don't get me wrong. Very well done film, wrapped up very well, done very well. But I wanted an action sequence. I wanted cars being driven off of rooftops. I wanted helicopters driving cars. I wanted motorcycles on sidewalks.
It's a heist movie.
That's what
you're looking forward to.
Give me a Mini Cooper driving down a subway.
Yeah.
I'd probably give this a 7.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I liked the action sequences, as you mentioned. They're shot very well.
The acting was okay.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
8.
8.
8.
6, 7, and an 8.
6, 7, 8.
That's an average of a
7.
Oh yeah.
I guess that's the episode. So if you want to reach out to us, you can reach out to us on Twitter at Cineplex Podcast and suggest a movie that we watch or ask us questions.
Please.
You can reach out via email at cineplexpodcast@gmail.com.
Do that though.
Yeah.
That's also an option. Hopefully next week something interesting will have happened at the theater. I mean, it's just things are running smoothly.
Oh, I think it will.
You know what, Greg? I'm going to give you can do whatever you want just so we have something to talk about next week.
I'm going to need to hear that again.
For the record, Greg, you can do whatever you like. Now.
All right, he's gone. He didn't want to do this podcast, I guess.
All right, well, whatever he's up to, I'm sure we'll cover it next week. Thanks for listening.
I'm Henry Harrison.
I'm Kyle McKlinsky.
My name is Greg.
You're still listening?
What? He was just outside the door?
It's almost like you ran out just for the sake of a bit.
Well, bye.
Bye.